EnterTalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Welcome to Sharpen the Axe. Explore the bleeding edge of guitar and bass gear. Discover a sound uniquely your own and cut through the noise. With your hosts, Eric Lucero and Paul Barrison.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Sharpen the Axe, our first for 2018. I'm Eric Lucero.
And I'm Paul Barrison, and I don't have a wireless mic today. Because I gave my wireless mic to our very special guest.
Yes, Miss Melissa Barrison.
Yes. Melissa Barrison.
And very welcome. Thank you for joining us on Sharpen the Axe today.
Thank you for having me.
And as you can see by this sparkly instrument in her hand, she is a very, very rad violin player. Now, why don't you tell the folks at home a little bit about your history, your playing history, who you've gone with.
Yeah. I see you kicking around town all the time with all sorts of dudes.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
People say I'm hardest working musician. I don't know about that. I just stay busy. But yeah, I'm classically trained, graduated from Point Loma Nazarene University, and got into the rock scene my freshman, sophomore year. I'm playing with all kinds of bands.
And you were telling me, actually, for those who don't know, this show is based in San Diego, and one of the bands I came up watching, you played in Louis XIV here locally.
Yeah, I got to sit in with some of their reunion shows, opening for CeeLo and CeeLo Green and all kinds of stuff.
But that was your start into rock, right?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, and one of the lead singers from Louis branched off and started the Nervous Records.
That's right, so Brian Karsig. What's up, Brian?
Yay, BK.
And where'd you go from there? Who else have you played with?
Oh, gosh. I've played with a lot of local bands, everything from, there's a Latin world beat reggae band called Todo Mundo. I toured with them for a little bit. I've done some stuff with One Drop. I've done Rodella's Machine, Donna's Trio, working with Shane Hall,
nice.
And Maren Parcell. Gosh, Jesse LaMonica on the Dime novels, Wish in the Well, the list goes on and on.
You were with Bandolier for a little while.
Yeah.
which is the first time you were at our old studio, a little bit down the way from here. We used to have a show called Radio Band Diego, which we're going to be bringing back here probably pretty shortly. Now that we have this like awesome live video streaming capabilities, we're gonna. So I don't think they're around anymore, right, Bandolier?
No,
they were
disbanded.
rad band. That was
Prog
really
rock.
prog rock,
Prog
very,
rock band.
Right.
but
on.
like classic prog rock, like very.
Yes.
Like-
Yeah.
Like Yes and
Yeah, a little moodier than Yes, more Floydy. I would say more,
rad.
yeah, Floyd, Wilco kind of vibe.
A lot of influence from Wilco for
And
sure.
yeah, you used to shred with them on that thing. It was awesome.
That was fun. Super fun. Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
right on. And do you have any regular gigs right now that you're going to go out and play your tour with?
Right now, it's January, so everyone's kind of like coming off the holidays, getting into recording mode. So I just freelance a lot of corporate gigs. I also play with San Diego City Ballet Orchestra.
Okay, right on.
So I know we have a spring performance coming up. I'm not sure what that will be yet.
Nice, right on. So you as well as live, you have been in studio before and have appeared on records. Mm-hmm. So to start there on the, this is a gear show, so most of the time in a studio you're just running direct, going into the board, effects or everything comes during mixing. But how about we take a look at your live rig if we could real quick.
Oh goodness, yes. So this is a do-it-yourself at home. I've always wanted a pedal board set up. So I went to Salvation Army and I got a laptop case, gutted it, and put in some pedals. I have my LR Bags DI because a lot of problems with acoustic instruments, as you know, is sometimes the pickups aren't strong enough, especially if you're playing with loud rock bands, to really cut through, and this allows me to not solely rely on the sound guy.
That thing looks like it's been around the block a couple of times.
Yeah, I actually got it from a cellist up in LA who works on like Family Guy and Titanic. He's done all those soundtracks
right
and
on.
stuff. So he's like, Melissa, you need this. So it's coming from a pro. There was a slat missing, so I put in a power surge, and I've got my wireless set up, rechargeable batteries, so I don't die during the middle of a solo. My little TC electric Hoff for reverb, and then the flashback for some delay, and then my tuner, of course.
Nice, right on. So you do have a straight, just go-to setup, just reverb, delay, tuner to help you out and get right to it.
This is my acoustic setup, and I'm gonna reach in because every once in a while I will bust out this guy. That's okay. It's my Pog.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Gotta
Electro-Harmonics
have
Pog.
the octave pedal. But yeah, at home I've got wah wah, the Crybaby and Distortion. And
so I don't, at least from what I've seen, there's not too many violin players out there using effects that I've seen. But is there a lot more than I really realize?
I'm sure, yeah. There's a couple, mostly in LA, I feel like.
Yeah.
I would love to find, if you're a violinist in San Diego and you use pedals and wireless and you rock out, please let me know. I want to make friends with you.
We might inspire some people on this show to go
Yeah.
ahead.
True. And if you're a violinist looking for pedals, please come see me at Pitbull Audio. I'll help you out on that respect. Which so far everything that we've seen is stuff that is available at Pitbull Audio.
Awesome.
Just a quick question before we dive into the toys. When you do play with more classical type orchestra, ballet stuff, do the players there tend to kind of think what this sort of thing is cool, or is it like you're in the enemy camp with those rock and rollers?
They're fascinated
with their one pentatonic scale that they know.
It's kind of like me when I get into a mix of guitar players and I'm like, what's that? What do you do? How does that sound? And then when I'm with the classical players who've never done this, they're very intrigued and have a lot of questions, but they're a little scared of it. They're not sure.
Well, you're about to know the pain that I go through every episode we do this is when Eric brings a bunch of top shelf toys.
Yes.
Right, I try.
Yes.
But before I forget on one question, usually live, you want some reverb or delay. Most violinists might go to the sound guy. What led to you actually going for your own board?
That's a good question. I guess not every sound guy is different, and I don't always get what I want. So I like having the control. also with a combination of those pedals, I try to mimic a guitar.
Okay.
So I'll play a lot of church gigs as well, and they like to have that ambient, just like lots of delay.
Yeah.
So I like to control that on and off, and I can't really rely on the sound guy. Hey, this song at 2 minutes, can you just boost my delay like crazy? I'll just do a foot switch.
Or have to come up with some elaborate hand signals like.
Yeah, it's hard to do when you got both hands occupied in that sense, right? Can't signal, so you want control.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what you think of these toys. See if they end up in your board at all.
Yeah, add them to my arsenal. So what do we got?
So we're gonna start out with the TC Electronic, who makes your flashback and Hall of Fame that you got.
Fan.
This is their pitch shifter, Harmonizer, the Quintessence, which I'm sure a lot of you who are listening have seen. It was a bit of big news when it came out. What's kind of cool about this, you can choose your key, your scale, so if you know your modes, you can get that deep on there. I don't know what any of that means. Failed music major.
You sounded very intelligent saying modes, though.
Yeah,
I was
impressed.
like, this dude modes.
If I can just read the words on a page and imitate it back to make me look that much smarter, that's a success to me. You can also choose, well, of course, you can choose your harmony from 6 below to 6 above. You got 3 tone print, if you're into that, slots on there. And you got wet and dry mix. Do you ever mess with harmonizers? Wait, you do. You have your POG that you
It's not
sometimes
really
mess with.
harmonizer, it's the octave. So
True, yeah.
I know I've seen people do vocal harmonizers, and I'm fascinated by that. But
Yeah, the sister company of TC Electronic, TC Helicon, and yeah, people are doing some pretty crazy, incredible things with those. We'll have to bring those on one of these days. But let's hear your dry real quick. This is no effects at all. Now, actually, before, any key you want to pick?
let's do. What do you got? Is it every key?
C, D, F, G, A, B.
Let's do D.
All right, let's do, I like the 4th below sound.
D for
Wait,
that.
is there no E key in there? Because they figure
Oh,
that
there
you're
is.
the guitar player, going to be an E already.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
E, right, yeah, right there. And let's see what's down here.
Isn't that Ninja Turtles? Or Power Rangers?
Go. There you go, yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Right? Fun to mess with. Let's go scroll through some of the harmonies that are available here from 6 below on up. This is 6 below. 4th below now.
The cellist just got fired. You don't need him anymore.
Right? 3rd below now. Third above now. Power chord time. 5th above now.
Nice.
Ooh, that is high. Probably want to stay on the lower end for that. Wow.
Right?
This
That's
really
so
works
many
with a
sounds.
violin because, you know,
Yeah.
normally there's a couple of you guys there anyway doing
Yeah.
harmonies. That's really sounds symphonic.
And a very consistent signal like the sustain on a violin actually works with the pitch shifter a little better than something that kind of warbles dynamic-wise and
Yeah.
pitch-wise like a guitar string.
I like this a lot.
Right? So, hey, you can get the more money that you don't have to hire a cellist and another violinist, right?
That's
For your
true.
weddings and other gigs. Now, one of the cool features on the new TC V2s for the Hall of Fame, the Flashback, and the Quintessence is that mash button, which is like you put pressure on it when it's on, and you can assign it to do this or that. In this case, it goes up to the next interval in the pitch shifting. So,
Should we hear that?
oh yeah, let's sustain a note, and then we'll...
So it'll just go sequentially? Oh,
hear that.
Almost like the pitch knob on a keyboard.
Yes, exactly. It just
that's
pushes it
cool.
up. And you could kind of tell with varying pressure, it can kind of float up into it if you want to do like a sort of grace note style, if you got the foot control down to slick it up like that.
Yeah.
So it's a really clever feature. I loved it on the Hall of Fame where you could kind of shoot up the modulation or the repeats and make something oscillate. Excuse me. So you can program it through the Tone Print app to do whatever you want if you want to go to a different interval instead of sweeping up. However you want to program it.
That's really cool.
So you could see yourself using something like this on stage.
Definitely. I wish I had a whole string section on stage, and I do with this guy.
Right? Yeah, just
Maybe
up by
a
myself.
couple of these back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Just stacked.
Just
Yeah, just stacked. You got your third, your fifth.
There
Yeah,
you go.
just all in a row.
Yep.
Why not?
So let's see. I like violin with drive. We were testing it out earlier, right? So do you
Yeah.
ever use much distortion drive ever on anything you've done so far?
Not live. If I'm doing something solo, I will, but usually I'm playing with other guitar players. So I'm like, all right, you can sound like the guitar player.
You let them take care of the gain. Who needs it, right?
But I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Right. So the push damp sound. I mean, especially when you do something like on the rock side of stuff, kind of would be cool to hear, like say
Yeah.
a lead guitar sound that's much more singing than what a guitar can do.
Yeah.
So let's see what it like pushing the amp sounds like in this case.
Whoa, look at you.
Rad.
Right?
Yeah.
Can I
So-
hear that with the fifth?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, who needs Tony Iommi? We got violin.
Way. We got this covered.
I think I just said blasphemy too. I'm gonna get like pegged in the head by a metalhead as soon as I
Yes.
step outside these doors.
As if we don't get enough trolls on this show.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't have
Yeah,
to
I just-
invite them into our home.
Yeah, I just took another shovel to the hole we're digging, pretty much. But oh well, say la vie. So this Sparkle Drive has been a popular one for a while, and one of the things that has kept it around is this clean blend here. When I had it, you testing it before, that's just distortion. Nice, so you can blend in your clean tone, so you still get some of the just natural, in your case, the ring and sustain of a violin.
Yeah.
So would that make drive more appealing to you? That you can control the blend of
Yeah.
distorted and dry.
Yeah, because sometimes the distorted is like a little too much and you lose the overall sound of the instrument. And it's nice to kind of have that,
Yeah.
that mix.
So when you do your solo Ozzy and Black Sabbath show, you'll be able to still get your natural sound through
Yeah.
a nice mid-hum style overdrive there.
Yeah, I still know it's me.
Yeah, right. I think we're gonna expand her pedal board. This is gonna.
Yeah, you're going to
really
need a
open the doors
bigger
for her.
laptop bag.
Yeah, definitely.
So, have you ever messed with the fuzz much on any of your?
I don't think I have.
No.
It's good
Right on.
fuzzy.
Well, we're gonna introduce you to the Gray Stache by our friends from New Jersey, Fuzzrocious.
I like the mustache on there.
Right.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's your take on the Big Muff circuit with volume, tone, a mids, and a sustain, which is your fuzz. So you want scooped mids, you want boosted mids so it cuts. Well, it's available to you right here. Let's hear your clean tone again.
electric violins, Eric, have piezo pickups, right? Generally,
Yes, yeah.
So
there's
it's
bridge
a little bit
pickups, there's piezos, yeah.
that's a piezo, I assume.
I think so.
So that's probably different the way it'll interact with a pickup through a distortion effect the way it would through a magnetic pickup with a coil on a guitar.
Yeah, it's a little bit more brute force, I think,
Yeah.
sort of with your usual guitar pickup. And I really have not run many piezo instruments through fuzz, so this is an experiment
This is
for
the
me, and I'm
first one.
liking it. I like sharp, articulate stuff. So this is definitely cutting it. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
hear it.
That's where I'm liking the distortion stuff is on the lower notes much more.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's full of these harmonics that pop out.
Yeah.
It's rich sounding.
Yeah.
It is pretty awesome.
It's a different beast from a guitar, obviously. Like you can just do sustain with bowing, where on a guitar, a lot of
Yeah.
your sustain will come from the
fuzz
overdrive.
pedal.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's the old Big Muffs labeled sustain. Everyone wondered why, but same on here. It is the fuzz, and fuzz on top of sustain is a beautiful, beautiful sound. I'm digging it.
Rad. It sounds like when I run through my amp. If I just.
What do you use for an amplifier?
I just have a little mini Fender amp right now.
Okay.
Really? So you don't go for anything specialized? You just go through just a Fender Deluxe or Twin?
Yeah. I played through a Vox and an Orange, and I really liked that.
Oh,
and
nice. Yeah, English
Marshall
sound.
Stacks. Yes. But this is like an amp and a pedal. This is cool.
I
don't have
really want to hear that through a 4x12 with this fuzz.
Oh
that would
my
be monstrous.
We can do that. I can arrange for
Yeah?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
do
Wait, we do have a cab simulation on our Behringer Ultra. Which one do we have? The Ultra GDI. So you can kind of simulate it here.
Let's try it. So this is without it. Just and now with the cab.
A little bit more, slight bump in the low.
Oh, actually, yeah, with the distortion, it makes a big difference. So this is without it. And now with it. That sounds a lot more like a guitar.
Yeah, a little bit more focused. Yeah.
Yep.
Which, for those who might not know at home, a lot of the DIs will nowadays have cab sims, which usually will imitate usually it's 12.
This is a 4x12.
Yeah,
I
they're
think.
usually 4x12s or 2x12s. Some of them I've seen with 4x10 sims, but it always adds that extra girth, that extra power underneath, and it definitely worked with a violin and the sustain.
Yes.
Sounded awesome.
You want to just keep that on?
Yeah, might as well, yeah.
Keep it rolling.
Now, do you ever go chorus, flange, modulation, anything? Outside of studio, no? Oh, this is going to be fun. I wanted to bring that 70s fat-sounding phaser style.
Okay.
So
Now,
it's our...
we've had this pedal on the show before for guitar, right?
I think we have had other source audio pedals before. I don't know if we've had the Lunar phaser here. What's cool about these, stereo in, stereo out, but they also have a Nero app, which opens up a lot more control through your iPhone. And it comes with this cable that takes it from your iPhone right into there and open up the app, and you can even change that to the chorus if you wanted to.
Nice.
So I gotta hand it to Source Audio. They have come up with some really clever ideas and some great sounding effects, like this super awesome lush sounding phaser.
Awesome.
So you're dry. We'll just make everything middle.
There we go.
Cool.
Kind of subtle, but kind of cool sounding. This is the classic mode, which is a 4-stage phaser. They have a univibe sound, and on the other side, the multi is a really sort of cool sounding 8-stage phaser. Let's go with the vibe real quick. I like the univibe sound.
Let me try to take this. Took the cab off.
I could definitely see this in that prog or psychedelic sort of atmosphere.
Yeah.
I definitely like it. It's, let's see.
I feel like it mimics a lot of my vibrato.
Hey, you could save yourself the trouble.
Vibrato on vibrato for vibrato.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's what is it on here? Sine, sawtooth, and square wave. So with it maxed out, so you can really hear it. There we are. Let's go through them. That's sine.
It's really vocal.
Yeah. There's
Meow,
a square
meow.
wave. Meow, meow.
Meow, meow.
Meow, meow.
That's cool. You can speed it up. Yeah. That's rad.
Yeah. So would you see yourself using something like this, or kind of like, oh, maybe once in a while, song calls for it, and not my go-to
I
sort
would
of
have
thing?
to join another prog rock band for
Yeah?
sure, which I have no objection to.
Well, plenty prog rock bands out there need a violinist. Please call Melissa Barrison.
Yes.
She'll make you way more progressive than you already are. We're going to be heading into a commercial here in a little bit, so maybe save the
Oh, sure. Save the rest out.
couple of these for later. So far, what's one that you like the most?
Definitely. I'm reading it upside down quick.
Oh, Quintessence from TC
Quintessence?
Electronic there.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. And Gray Stache. is
Gray
super fun.
Stache.
I like them all. If I-
And now you know my pain.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Yeah,
takes
it's hard
them
to
all
choose
back
just one.
with him at the end of the night, and that's the saddest.
not if I have
Maybe you could charm some out of him. I'm not as good at it. We're gonna
Well,
take a.
We'll be back in just a little bit with our guest, Melissa Barrison. We'll be back in a minute.
Stay tuned.
Welcome to Sharpen the Axe. Explore the bleeding edge of guitar and bass gear. Discover a sound uniquely your own and cut through the noise. With your hosts, Eric Lucero and Paul Berezetsky.
Let's try that again.
Rad.
That's a lot of stash.
Right, yeah.
Do you play guitar at all?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I have a little Fender Starcaster, not Strat. It's a Starcaster from Costco.
There you go, right on. So did you start on violin? Did you start elsewhere and then wind up on violin?
I started on violin.
How old were you?
I was 8.
8.
Yeah.
Nice. You gravitated to it yourself, or is it one of those things where your parents kind of make you? And
Yeah, Mom kind of made me. She's friends. Her friends was in the San Jose Symphony.
how long
okay.
did it take you to get into it, where you started actually liking it? I imagine it must have been a chore in the beginning.
It was pretty hard. I hated it.
Yeah?
It was the worst. I had private lessons for about 6 months up in the Bay. That's where I'm originally from. And then when I moved down to San Diego, I was 6 months ahead of everybody. So naturally, as a violinist, we like to be better than everybody and have the upper hand. So I was like, oh, I like this now because I'm better. So
That's where it started paying off.
yeah,
And you did end up majoring in music, correct? And
I did.
nice.
Yeah.
And you went to down here, Point Loma Nazarene, right? Nice. Well, you're one of the few cases where I've heard like, okay, I'm gonna study music, and then it went to playing and recording. That's a very rare thing, it seems.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
wow, definitely made a living out of it.
Yes.
It's actually like something I think about all the time. There's this kind of with music instruments, when kids start out playing, the earlier you start, the better you're gonna be. But if you start out early to where you're just forced to do it, it's rough for kids. So if you stick with it past a certain age, you will start digging it. On the other hand, if you wait, like me, I didn't start playing guitar till I was like in high school, because you're just an angsty teenager and you want to
That's when I started
play
playing
guitar.
Yeah,
Guitar.
greatest
guitar.
reason as any to start. Yeah.
But I'll never get to the level where someone that starts playing an instrument 8 years old is going to get to. So it's kind of like a weird.
I was actually late for my group. Most of my peers at Point Loma started when they were 3 or 4.
Oh, really?
So I was considered a late bloomer. So
And that's why you're playing the devil's music.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, well, I was raised on Zeppelin and the Doors. And
You were
all
an
that, so
angsty 8-year-old.
I was an angsty 8-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I was so surprised when we started playing, like before the show started. You're taking out like metal riffs, Ozzy, yeah.
Drowning Pool,
CDC, yeah, all that stuff.
Guns N' Roses.
Yep.
Yeah.
But hey, that's why you're getting paid though, and out there actually gigging those, because you have that variety under your belt. Which I got to admit, I do not have that much of a playing variety under my belt. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
always been my goal, is to be in any musical situation, reggae, rock, jazz, and just be able to play along.
Never heard violin in a reggae tune.
yeah, I can't think
gotta
of
be
one either.
kinda
Yeah,
cool.
I'd like to hear that. Orchestral reggae, actually. We're gonna just expand on beyond that.
Why not?
Why
Hold
not?
on a second.
Let's be the most relaxed conductor ever.
I gotta hear what this sounds.
Uh-oh, I'm on the spot.
There
Talk
we
to
go.
talk.
I'm gonna try this as jump in.
That works.
Yeah.
Well, now I know that orchestral reggae can exist in the
Orchestral
world.
reggae. You heard it here first. When it's a thing, we just invented it.
Up next, dub. dub with violin.
Yeah.
Get spacey, why not?
That's a thing, too.
You got enough
Well-
toys here to make it happen.
I was gonna say, well, if you're gonna get spacey, we need delay and reverb.
Yes.
So that's our next categories right here. I brought the ARP 87 from Walrus Audio. This has been a popular one that, I gotta admit, it took me a little while to get accustomed to. It's 4 modes with a secret mode, actually. You got a digital, analog, lo-fi, and slapback. Controls for repeats. Let's see, dampen control, level, ratio, and X, which changes depending which mode you're in. It is modulation for slapback, digital and analog, and it is the filter in lo-fi. And there's no rate knob. It's all by tap tempo, which is the second switch. So let's hear a little bit of the violin dry first. There we go. There's some of that modulation.
That's cool.
That works really
Right?
well.
It is a very lush sounding, even on the digital, when it's with the modulation in it, it kind of has a nice shimmery shine to it because of that modulation. It's working very well with that nice long
Yes.
sustain on a violin.
Yeah.
So how often do you kick on the delay that's on yours? Is it used often, or is it kind of just when needed basis?
Yeah. It depends. Again, it depends. Like I said, a lot of the church gigs that I do where I need to sound like just a very spacey, airy guitar, fill up a lot of space, I'll put that
Yeah?
into action.
All right, on. Awesome. So you do get to have some fun with it on occasion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so atmospherics, of course, makes complete sense.
Yes.
Now let's roll through some of the other modes. I had you in analog here.
Does that thing do backwards?
Yeah, I feel like it should go backwards.
Right,
too.
yeah, that's like the one mode missing out of here is reverse.
I mean, it almost sounds reverse with how
Yeah.
how spacious it is.
Right?
It gives that illusion.
And you can kind of imitate the attack of one if you take away the high end. So I have the dampening rolled back a little bit. And the well, this is on the lo-fi right here, so I pulled the filter back so it's darker so you don't hear the attack at the beginning of the delay as much.
Right.
Yeah.
So compared to, like, say, if I crank these two. Where you can hear the chucks and everything on the
Yeah.
attack.
The other one kind of stays out of the way more.
Yeah, when you take the dampen back and, I mean, like... Ooh, well, I like that. Wait, try it again.
Oh, now you gotta do Super Mario. It's too crazy.
Super crazy.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit too much. This is like going through the portal into Mario World must sound like.
Yeah.
This is what I hear in my head when I'm having a bad trip on shrooms. Something very, very similar. Stabby horror movie violins, no! Damn. So let's try the last. Actually, since slapback is the Nashville sort of sound, could you give us a little fiddle styling?
Ooh.
So I almost kind of got a little doubling effect there, the way
Yeah.
that it is.
Yeah.
It's going, you can tell by the rate there, fast as hell.
So I notice you're like sliding up into most of the notes when you do it. That's kind of the fiddly thing.
Yeah, a lot of double stops. It's fiddle. I mean, I think guitar players invented fiddle because it's so sloppy. It's accurate, but it's a guitar player that picked up a violin and
I hear that a lot in stuff like maybe Allman Brothers or Lynyrd Skynyrd. Like sometimes like I close my eyes and I just picture a fiddle. It might as well be.
Yeah, definitely.
I could see that, yeah. Especially some of the slide players with that attack into it. I could definitely see that.
They actually don't get too close. Guitar players make great violin, great fiddle players.
I do not. I assure you.
I wouldn't know what to do on a fretless neck as much as I'd like to.
I've tried to pick up a violin a couple of times. All I can do is make horrendous noises.
That's okay. Me too.
I'll probably sound like you did at 8 years old when you just picked it up. Oh, no, that's way better. That's way better than what I can do.
That's what I sound like on guitar, actually. So that's.
Oh man.
Let's now, like any good video game, there's some secrets hidden, right? So a lot of people have talked about this one, so let's see if I can get this to work just right. There is a hidden algorithm.
It's like the secret menu at In-N-Out.
Animal style.
Yeah, can I get that
is
delay
it the
animal
other way?
style?
Extra veggies.
What does extra veggies get you? I don't know that one.
A lot of filler.
Extra lettuce and tomato.
Oh.
Nice. Well, at least we learn a little. Well,
I just don't think of those as veggies
You
on a
ever
burger.
get monkey style?
No, what's that?
Animal style fries on a burger?
no,
Monkey style.
Wow.
monkey style. I'm gonna learn that. I work right by now to do it for lunch.
We got the inside track here.
Let's see if it worked. Don't think I got it, nah.
Do a car.
Nice. Well, sorry folks, I wasn't able to get the hidden algorithm here, but it is in there. I'm sure you can go on
you like
Pedals Reddit, or I'll post it up later on Sharpen the Axe
What
Facebook.
is it supposed to do?
It's another flavor of reverb, another mode, but I cannot quite recall the exact Cobra code, or what was that code to get it out of there. So
For those who like a
thank
challenge.
you. Contra code. Thank you, Cedric. But one more in the chain here, some reverb.
Yes.
And right here, this one's definitely been a hit, is the Mxr Studio Reverb. Just nice and simple. Decay, mix, tone, which also allows you to go through each of the reverbs there, and 6 modes.
6.
So you don't need no studio engineering. You don't need to rely on your front of house guy. It's
Yes.
all your reverbs. So we'll start with the plate.
That burger is called Panther style.
Panther style.
That burger right there, that's Panther style.
Yes.
Let's try the spring reverb next, much like your beloved Fender amps, right?
Okay. I like
Did you
that.
tap on the knob to activate that?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The tone knob you push down to scroll through each of the modes.
Wow.
Wow,
So-
that's fancy.
Right, yeah. MXR making it nice and easy. They don't have to get a bigger box with another switch to go through. It's just tap the top of the tone.
This is already a button. Let's do something else with it.
Yeah, exactly, right? Why waste space? That's actually a great sounding spring reverb, though.
I like it. It's-
Right? Especially when it's on the brighter side. Nice. So,
I like that.
do you have any preference, like, for kind of reverb? Like on the Hall of Fame, I think it's just sort of like a arena style, right, or room style on there.
Yeah, you just crank the. Well, I have the mini one, so.
All right,
I
on
don't know
nice, so
what
it's the
whole-
easy.
Yeah, just like more reverb, less reverb.
Nice and easy, right? Why complicate things?
Yeah.
Your preference? Do you have any preferred kind of reverb?
I think I gravitate towards spring usually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I learned to love spring reverb because of Paul and Dan from Interpol. That thick, strong sound of cranked as hell Fender amps and Interpol's albums made me love the spring reverb sound. And I already hear like the old timers yelling at me through the computer screens of "What about Dick Dale and others?" But I'm sorry, guys, it was Interpol for me.
I had to wait like 70 years.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm going to be yelling at some screen that's not even there at some young whippersnappers talking about gear or music. I already do, really, to be honest.
My day.
Let's see. Let's go with epic reverb because epic. Right? Yeah.
I like that.
It's got some modulation in there. It sounds like a blend of reverbs, which I think actually is what that epic is. And you know, you want something to sing David Gilmour like. I mean, that's a great choice right there.
Yeah.
In fact, let's add some of that Fuzzrocious onto it.
There we go.
Definitely very, very cool sounding.
Try this Parko drive with it.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned on the cab.
There we are.
It's thick.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I had not quite ignored, but I hadn't jumped to the Mxr Studio Reverb here in my choice, just testing stuff out. But I need to revisit this one a bit. It's quite nice.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And we still got 3 more types to go here, right? Yeah, it's a lot they pack into one little compact
I'm
box.
already happy with the first.
Keeps on
There's
going.
more?
You don't
There's
know what happiness
more.
is yet.
Oh.
Yeah, until you've tried modulated reverb.
Yeah. A little more subtle.
Right? And it's like the church guys actually, now since you were mentioning it earlier, love the modulated reverb, just a nice long decay on it and let it sing with their transparent overdrives.
Yeah, take me to church.
A mournful sound over the plains. It's definitely pretty awesome sounding. Paul, would you find yourself using this on guitar? How are you digging this one right here?
I really dig that. I'm not too happy with my reverb on my amp that I normally use. I just kind of put it in for a little bit of wetness, but it's kind of I don't know. It's weird. The Mesa Boogie is a little. I think it'll probably. I think it's part of like the whole gain structure. So like if I had the opportunity to crank that amp way up, I think the reverb would be more present, but it tends to kind of like really sit in the back somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes the Mesa Boogie reverbs can be funny like that. Like I love the triple crown head, but the reverb on it, I'm learning how to get with.
I suspect it was done intentionally to keep your tone kind of like pristine and focused without making it all wishy-washy with a bunch of reverb.
Yeah, not trying to soak it up.
Yeah. So it's really good for that, where it won't get in the way of your tone at all. But it's hard to get that really, really lush, spacey thing with it.
And especially with a pedal, like say for the spring, it can be easier because actually, as I mentioned before, Interpol, they are using a Moleko spring chicken reverb because some stages will shake so much at the volume that they're playing at that it can affect the reverb and it can really wash over when you don't want it to.
Wow.
So if I had a nice deluxe or a twin with that Fender in there, I'd try to even pad it underneath if I really wanted the reverb in there, like a Dick Dale style or something like that, because I don't want it to completely take over. But when you got control like this, and You like control, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what she
We need to
doesn't
trust the
rely
sound guy.
on sound guys.
Well, you got a couple more in here for flavor. Now, let's see how you think of this room compared to your Hall of Fame.
I like this. There's a lot of clarity in it.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
So, a lot more clarity compared to your Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you're liking it a little bit better.
It's a little crisper and defined.
Nice. Right on. So, somewhere, Mxr or TC Electronic. Sorry. One more on here, the pad, which is octave above and below, I believe.
What?
So you got a pog and reverb in one for you.
Oh man, I can get rid of 2 pedals already.
Right?
Make room for the sparkle.
There we go.
That's super cool.
It's got some modulation in there. I love how thick this one sounds.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Nice.
Man.
Very synth-based, and I mean, now you can, who needs a Moog or a Roland? You can do just some, like, synth string style stuff just on your own, just with that one right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hire people, not synth players. So for all the stuff that we've gone through today, and again, thank you very much for joining us and playing
having
playing
me.
through our pedals for you.
It's been fun. I wish I could take you guys everywhere all the time.
Has anything jumped out, stood out to you that made you go, oh wait, that?
I need more pedals.
Yeah, in general. Right
Yeah.
on. You can always come down to Pitbull Audio, where you can find all of these right here. They're for sale if you're a guitar player, violin player, bass player.
Yes.
Anything we can do to help you out. You can get the Quintessence for, let's see. Well, I have to look at my notes. I can't remember everything.
Hopefully
140
we've ruined some like 12-year-old classical players right now that had no idea they could do
That was
this.
the goal.
There's going to be a sudden influx of string players
Come
and
to the
prog
dark
bands. Yeah.
side.
And you can get your prog setup going. It's $149.99 for this guy right here, $129.99 for this, $145 for the gray Stache. For the Lunar, it's $149. It is $199 for the ARP 87 and $199.99 for the Mxr Reverb. So none of them terribly, terribly overpriced compared to the boutique market. And you get your money's worth. These are all great builders right here.
Yeah.
But again, thank you very much for joining us. Now, if someone wants to hire you for studio work, sessions, stage, weddings, whatever, where can they find you?
MelissaBarrison.com.
That's right on.
Yeah.
And any upcoming gigs in San Diego that those in the local area can come see you at?
I'm actually at Java Joe's tomorrow night with Lee Coulter, and I'm off to Nashville for a
Java
while.
Joe's in Encinitas? Where's Java Joe's?
I don't know. It'll be my first time playing there.
Oh no, I'm thinking Java Hut.
But
I don't remember where Java Joe's
But
is.
it's definitely on my calendar on my website, so you can check that out. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram and all that fun stuff too. So
Right on. So on any social media platform, find Melissa Barrison. Hire her out. She is a badass violin player, as you heard. And hopefully you'll join us again sometime on here.
yeah, I'd love to. Thank you guys.
Let's jam it out.
Right? As well.
Hit it.
Oh, and false start.